Hey guys, this is part 2 of special right triangles, 30, 60, 90 degree triangles. Remember, this is the relationship we are looking at, and we're going to apply these in the next examples at the bottom of the page. Now, one thing I didn't get to, I was a little short on time in the last video, is that the long leg does not necessarily have to have a root 3 in the answer. This is just the relationship. So this kind of confuses some students that if the short leg has a radical in it, it's just the formality or the rule that you're applying. So you're either multiplying by root 3 or multiplying by 2, which I will show you in these examples down here that get a little more tricky. Okay, let's look at some basic ones first on number 12. Okay. So just like when we started with SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent, it's helpful for a lot of students to label which side is which, and you'll get faster at them. So the side that is labeled that we know is the hypotenuse. Okay. Opposite the 30 is the short side. And then of course the 60 is not labeled, but you can put it in if you want. Opposite 60, this is my long leg. So we're given the hypotenuse. If you don't have the short side, the trick is you need to find it first. Okay, so let's go up to our rules that we just learned. If we have the short leg, remember the short leg times 2 is the hypotenuse. It's just doubled. So if we're going backwards, we're going to be dividing by 2. Okay, so essentially this is just half of the hypotenuse. So we know the short side is 4. Okay, and all we do is then go from short to long. We multiply by root 3. So that's 4 root 3. And again, make sure that makes sense to you in our picture up here. Whatever this length is, double or multiply by root 3. Okay, we're just looking at that pattern. All right, number 13. Again, this is 30 degrees. Opposite 30 will be my short side. Okay, so if I'm given my short side, this is, I think, the easiest case. I guess this one we missed our variable, so we'll find both sides. It kind of disappeared. If we wanted to find the hypotenuse, we double it. So the hypotenuse would be 10, whereas the long side, which is opposite 60, is just 5 square root 3. Okay. So if you have your short, you just multiply by 2 or multiply by root 3. Okay, 14 is essentially showing you that if you have a hypotenuse and a leg that is half of the hypotenuse, you can conclude that this is a 30-degree angle because it has to be similar to all of these other triangles. So this is a 30, 60, 90-degree triangle. Therefore, z, our missing variable, will be 13 square root 3. Okay. And the last one, 2 is my hypotenuse. So we always go to our short side first. You can't go hypotenuse directly to long leg. We have to go through the short first. So 2 divided in half means the short leg would be 1. Then we can multiply by root 3 to get to the long leg, which is 1 square root 3 or just square root 3. Okay. All right, so those were kind of some easier type problems. They do get a little spicy, as this worksheet says right here. In essence, like I said, the square roots can be on any side length. You just have to remember what do we need to do mathematically to get from one side length to the other? What is the relationship between those two sides? So meaning, on this one, this is the 60-degree angle, so therefore 6 is my long leg. Notice it does not have a root 3 in it. It does not have to have a root 3. But think back to our relationship here. If I have my, where's my example here? If I have my short leg, 5, I multiply by root 3 to get the long leg. So if I go backwards, instead of multiplying, we divide to go backwards. Okay, so meaning I have to take 6 and divide by root 3 to get x. Okay, and what does that look like mathematically? 6 divided by root 3. And this is why we learned how to simplify radicals way back when. We taught this about a month ago. We have to get rid of the root 3 in the bottom, in the denominator, so multiply top and bottom by root 3. So the top becomes 6 square root 3 over square root 9 or 3. And remember, if we have whole numbers that can divide out or simplify, you need to keep going. So this is 2 square root 3. So x, short side, is 2 square root 3. Now from the short side to the hypotenuse, we double it. So 2 root 3 times 2 would be 4 root 3. Okay? Again, watch that, rewind it if that didn't make sense, go over it again. Again, if you're going from short to long, you multiply by root 3. So if you have to go backwards, you divide by root 3. And it ends up being just a simplifying radical problem. Okay. So 17 is similar. We have the long leg being 9. So always go to your short leg if you don't have that first. So we're going to take 9, divide by root 3. We have to multiply by root 3 top and bottom. 9 root 3 over 3, which simplifies to be 3 root 3. So that is x. And then from the short leg to the hypotenuse, it's always doubled. Doubling 3 root 3 just makes y 6 root 3. All right. And the last two, number 18, again we have my long side, which means I have to take this, go to my short side again, I have to divide by root 3. So root 6 divided by root 3. Now this one we don't have to multiply root 3 top and bottom. The shortcut on this is if I'm taking root 6 and dividing by root 3, remember if they're both under a radical, you can just divide them. This is root 2. It would still work if you multiplied top and bottom by root 3, but it's going to be a little bit more simplification to get the answer. So x is root 2. Then we will take my short side and double it to get to the hypotenuse. So y is 2 root 2. Last one, 19. Okay, I have my hypotenuse. So again, where do we always go first if we don't have it? To the short leg. So I don't divide by root 3, but I divide by 2. Remember our relationship. Short leg, I usually double to get to the hypotenuse. Going backwards, I divide by 2. Okay. So we take 4 root 6 divided by 2, which is 2 root 6. Okay. Now short leg to the long leg, we multiply by root 3. So we have to take 2 root 6 times root 3. And this just involves simplifying radicals, which is good practice. 2 root 18. Remember, we can break this down into root 9 root 2, which is 3 root 2. So that whole simplified answer is 6 root 2 for y. Okay. So if you need to watch this video again, feel free. This is a tough lesson. Join in the Zoom chat today if you have watched this already, or on Wednesday. I'm sure you will have questions and we'll do some practice on these. Just remember our relationship, guys. If you're given the short leg, multiply by 2 or multiply by root 3. If you don't have the short leg, if you start with the hypotenuse, we go divide by 2 to get to the short, then you can multiply to get to the root 3. The hardest one is if you're given your long leg. Divide by root 3 to get to the short, and then you can double it to get to the hypotenuse. So always go through your short first. Okay, hope that was semi-helpful. Please do the homework, and I'll have those answers up for you guys to check. And we'll have a quiz on Thursday. Have a good afternoon.